Welcome, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Ascension. We are so excited, happy, overjoyed, grateful to have you. This is going to be so powerful. And it's a unique day. It's actually the first time that I've ever had this happen when leading a live event. But I woke up this morning and literally could not talk. And so I'm so excited though because I have the most amazing team and we're in for something that is such a treat. And this is going to be a little bit different than I had planned initially, but I know it's going to be even better because that's always how it works out. And so this morning at 5:30, I texted some members of my team and I said, I don't have a voice. Can you jump in and lead this? And what I am so grateful for is is to have a team who knows and embodies this material at their very core. And like I mentioned to all of you yesterday, being at this crossroads earlier this year, where I could have kept going as is, like relatively keeping things kind of the same and in my comfort zone, but there was something in me that was like, no, it's time to expand. It's time to have more and more people being able to teach and train this material. And here we are. And funny enough, on our team call on Monday, I was telling everyone, hey, I want you to be able to lead an event without me by April. And we got that wish sooner. So I am here today. I'm going to be absolutely part of this. But I have two phenomenal members of my team who are going to be co-facilitating and co-leading the event today. I'm just seeing in the chat, Jill, yes, absolutely, and Shanna, happening 4 members of your team. Exactly. Kat, when I introduce you, you'll have to share your word that you had just claimed for the next year, which is so perfect. The team is Quantum Leap 100%. And so my co-facilitators and leaders for today are going to be Laura Grabavoy and Kat Kuchenbrod. And so Laura is our program manager. She's our director of operations. For those of you who don't know her yet, she is just, I mean, the most amazing soul you'll ever meet. She came into this community and the 10K Club, oh my gosh, close to 4 years ago now when we first launched it. And within 6 months, she doubled her income in corporate. And she has become just such a trusted advisor, a dear friend. And she takes amazing care of our clients and she embodies this material. She's like a powerhouse corporate goddess, boss, babe, and super spiritually attuned. And so she's going to be leading parts today. And then Kat is she does so many things within the company. She's one of our lead success advisors, though. And Kat, do you want to share your word that you had picked for 2025?
Yeah,
Yes, literally
yeah.
yesterday.
Literally yesterday, I saw Stacy was on this call, so she was with me when I was like, I just found my word for 2025. I mean, I was listening to one of Elise's trainings and she was talking about audacity. And I was like, yeah, that's my 2025 word. And then it came up again. I was scrolling through Instagram as one does, and it came up again. There was a reel that was talking about audacity. So get ready, guys, because I have the audacity to be leading this today. So we are going to do it together.
It's so fun because when you decide something, you're like, I'm going to be audacious. You get opportunities to self-define and you get
Yeah.
opportunities to decide if you're going to be audacious or not. And
Yeah, so
so
true.
that's to me the power of this team and everyone on it is everyone is embodying this material. I was with Kat a couple weeks ago at an event and we did some math and figured out in what was it, 7 months, you turned your annual
Hmm.
income into your monthly income with
Yep.
this material. So you'll hear more about Kat's going to do some really powerful training today on money and ascending money. So you'll hear more about just her mindset around that and what's helped her grow. Kat Sassy, I love it in the chat from Chrissy. So this is going to be an interesting test of self-discipline for me to not talk too much. I see Shelly, my honorary Jewish mother here on the call who told me to stop talking on the mastermind call this morning. So I'm going to do my best. Team, if I have something to say, I don't know, I'll jump in. But um, Kat, I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah,
Get going. It's
I'm
going to be
happy to.
amazing. Yeah.
Y- Well, I just wanted to say welcome. It's so nice to see all of your beautiful faces today. Thank you for being on camera. And also so many people that I recognize and love. So happy you guys are all here. But I would love to start by just hearing your biggest takeaways from yesterday. You could either share it in the chat, or I would honestly love for this to be interactive. So if you want to come off mute and let's talk a little bit about kind of what came up for you yesterday, that's going to help guide us through today. So anyone have any big ones that they heard as they were kind of moving through this yesterday? Anything?
Well, I mean, it kind of goes along with
Okay.
my post that I made, which I was very proud of myself for knowing how to do that, because although I couldn't find Cat,
It was awesome.
I'm so old fashioned, baby boomer issue is that I couldn't find how to link you, and anyway, whatever. I can't do the
Yeah.
right. So, but what I think really, so that was, if I must doubt something, doubt my limits. And I think that really
Mm,
resonated for everybody from the
yeah.
comments. But there was another one that he said right afterwards that I thought really hit me hard. And that is, don't let other people determine how high I go. And don't ask for
Mm,
someone's opinion if they're not where you want to be. And that is something that I'm struggling with now with some of my marketing team for food and finance. I'm struggling with balancing out creativity, which they have, with not necessarily seeing bigger picture. And so anyway, one of the reasons
absolutely.
I'm here, I'm in this group is to try to balance that out. But I just thought that was really profound, I mean, just anyway.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, that's a great takeaway. And I'm seeing Holly saying, your must will move mountains. So true. And I love that you had the God wink yesterday with your necklace too. And Rebecca saying abundance has been mulling over since yesterday. Awesome. I actually wrote out a couple of different things here. Oops, of course, it's too big for me to put in the chat, so I will break it up in a second, but a couple of the resources that we mentioned, and also a couple of the, modules that are aligned for those of you who are already in, one of our programs. Some of the modules that we kind of touched on yesterday, I just kind of pointed them out. So thank you, Shelley, for telling me to do that yesterday. That was super helpful. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to just remind everyone today is, connect with your success advisor. Like, we are here for you guys to be able to kind of talk more one-on-one about your personal goals, where you want to go in life. We want to hear where you're currently at. How can we kind of help bridge the gap between your vision and where you're at, and kind of really just dive into that even deeper. Karen's saying, I know this may be weird, but I sat down this morning and felt like a CEO I'm not wanting to embody, or the CEO I'm wanting to embody. It's the first time I've had a very strong vision while sitting at a desk. Ooh, Karen, I would love if you came off mute and kind of just talked a little bit more about that, because that is powerful to be able to start visualizing yourself even in the day-to-day mundane tasks. Like, that's awesome.
It's been difficult because I've always worked for somebody. And so over the last 2 years, I'm working for myself. And Elyse told me last week I'm ascending, and I'm now suddenly feeling it. Like, even talking right now, I'm getting tingles up my spine. It was like this morning, I was like, I need to go through and update all of my Duns and Bradshaw, all my associations and everything, because I just got new headshots done. I just redid my 2025 mission and vision, and I want to make sure that I'm going into 2025 clear. And then I've had 2 people within the last 3 days reach out to me and ask me if I would hire them.
Wow.
And so
That's
that in
incredible.
and of itself, like,
Yeah.
that was
An
something
ascension for sure.
yeah, something I was wanting for next year, and it's already happening. And of course it's happening.
Of course. Way to be in that energy of course. I think that leads us perfectly into kind of what to expect today, right? We're going in for a powerful day. And we're really going to be teaching on these 2 pillars of ascension, right? Which are money and then time freedom. Of course, we'll go over our bonus drawing winner, and then we'll share some opportunities at the end here to kind of go deeper into this work with us if you feel called to. So I would love to dive right in. As Elyse said earlier in her awesome intro about me, I did just recently turn my annual income into my monthly income, which was something that I never expected would have happened. Um, And it really came from changing my energy with money. With a show of hands, how many of you guys have heard that money holds energy? You guys heard that there's different energies about different money, right? Like, and that, you know, the difference between $100 and $10,000, right? There's a different energy behind them. And so I realized through this work that I was not aligning with the energy of the money that I was trying to call in. Do any of you guys feel like, am I actually in alignment with the money that I want to be making? Right? Are you showing up as the person that's making, whether it's 10K a month, 10K a week? That's my goal right now, is to consistently bring in 10K a week, right? So what do I need to be showing up at? What energy am I in that calls in 10K a week, right? And so, but it was deeper than that. It wasn't just about like, oh, I just have to raise my energy, right? Because there's also blocks that happen. And so what is keeping us from that alignment? For me, it was money trauma. Has anyone else kind of been taught that the more money that we make, you know, the harder that we have to work and we have to sacrifice more? Because that was me, right? My parents taught me that, you know, and I love them dearly, but they always worked so hard for every penny that they had. And that was modeled to me. And then I reaffirmed it. For those of you who know my story, I was working as a nurse in the ER. The only way to make money there is to pick up extra shifts. So I was picking up extra shifts and working, you know, 12-hour shifts just to make an extra couple $100 on a paycheck. Like I was consistently only bringing in $1,500 biweekly, and that was with picking up shifts. Right. So I was affirming that through my adult life. And I realized like this is not fun. And so, but it created that money trauma, and I had fear around money, fear like, well, what if I start making more money and I'm miserable because that means I have to work so much harder, right? Like I'm comfortable in my nursing job now, like I'm good at it. You know, I can go in, I can do my 3 shifts and just chill the other days, which are mostly sleeping. Those of you in healthcare, you know, like you're exhausted, so you're just sleeping on your off days. So I was comfortable there, but I was scared that if I did anything else, it would require so much more work. And Elyse helped me realize that that's just simply not true. And we talk a lot about this. I know if you guys have been following our stories and following like our community for a while, we talk about these universal truths. That it isn't universally true that making more money is hard. Right now, Steve Jobs doesn't think making $100 is hard. He makes that in every second, right? Like that's kind of the energy that we're coming from. Is it's like, well, it's not hard for everyone else. Why am I making it hard for myself? Right? And helping myself release that. And it took a lot of work, but we released it. And one of the ways that helped me realize kind of where I was, and for those of you who are in the programs, I would definitely encourage you to rewatch the leadership from the feminine training that's under Method. But Elyse talks about these different archetypes and the different energies that help us realize when we're not in alignment, right? So when we are in alignment of whatever amount of money, for me, it's 10K a week, right? When I'm in alignment of 10K a week, I have to have the audacity, see what I did there? The audacity to step into queen or goddess energy, because she shows up freely and without concern, and money flows to her, and she's powerful, and she does things in a different way. She acts differently. And yet, looking through these trainings and working with Elyse, I realized very much so that I was in what we like to call the saboteur archetype, where my own way of thinking was sabotaging me and holding me back, right? I was telling myself it's hard to make money, right? I was sabotaging myself from being able to go and make more money. And I was just, self-sabotaging. Can any of you guys relate to like the self-sabotage of thinking that things, yeah, I saw a lot of hands on that one. And so I made that decision to stop allowing that energy to control my life, right? I said yes to myself, and worked with a team who literally specializes in rewriting these limiting beliefs that no longer serve me, because it was not serving me to think that money making was hard and to stay on that. And so I just kind of, I released that and I stepped into that higher energy and realigned myself with a higher, basically, money vibration. And I just kind of sat back as things slowly fell into place. Some of them were in like super unexpected ways. Right? Like my husband and I always said we wanted to travel. Now we're traveling full time, right? I would have never ever thought of that. I only started working with Elyse in February, right? So this has been just a complete 360 of my life. Well, 360 would put me right back. A 180, right? Math is hard sometimes. But then also, some of them worked out exactly how I envisioned, right? Like I held the vision for myself. I knew I wanted certain things. I knew I wanted more time freedom, which Laura's going to speak to in a little bit. I knew I wanted to be able to just live my life in a way of ease and peace. And that's exactly how it happened. Right. And so I would love to just kind of hold maybe a few minutes of like open discussion around what some of these things are coming up for you guys, because I'm seeing in the chat that there sounds like there's a good bit of money trauma that we all are kind of harboring onto. So if anyone wants to unmute, we can have a little bit of a discussion around it, but I can also read through some of these.
Can I ask a question, actually,
Yeah,
Kat?
please.
Yeah, I only mentioned one of my money traumas. This is definitely got to save some for
Yeah.
future conversations, probably. But could you go into that? You said you showed up as the goddess, and can you talk about, because I'm a analytical type and part of me, and how do you like, what's the practical way that you did that? To kind of...
Yeah. And so for you, I would definitely encourage you to go through some of the method on the 10K. That's going to go in deep in that. As for under that leadership training. But another way was through visualization, right? And Elyse is very generous with her time. There's a lot of those on YouTube with some of those that you guys can follow. And maybe you've done one even with us in the past. And if we have time today, maybe we can do one today. But visualizing myself as that higher person and showing up every single day from that. So like, let's say it's even simple things. It's making decisions about do I want to be doing tedious tasks, right? So I sit back and I visualize myself as that CEO, as that higher version, as the person that's easily bringing in X amount of money a week. And then I ask myself questions when I'm in that energy, right? So I get into that energy, I feel it, I feel myself straighten, right? My back straighten, I feel myself stand more confidently in my clothes. I put on a different color lipstick, maybe. All of the things. And then I start making decisions, and then I start getting those downloads as to what I need to be doing next. Right. And so for me, one of the biggest changes that was really kind of like a stretchy task for me was I hired a virtual assistant only a couple months into, my work. And I said, you know what? If I'm showing up as someone that has and is making, $40,000, $50,000 a month easily, do I want to be doing these tedious tasks? And the answer was no. And so I hired an assistant and I asked for help in those ways, right? So it's like just making decisions from that end place. How would I invest in myself if I was at the place that I'm making $50,000, $60,000 a month, right? How would I treat others? How would I give freely in a different way? And just really stepping into that person as best you can, and then making those decisions. And then it's like working backwards. So for someone who's analytical like yourself, you work backwards, get to the end, and you say, okay, well, how did I get here? Elyse asks that all the time. When I'm already in this place, how did I get there? Yeah, Elyse, please.
Can I just, so yeah, I made it 19 minutes, and now I gotta say something. So it's the longest I've ever not talked on an event. But I wanna hone in on something about you that I know helped you ascend so much financially, so that everyone can listen to this. And it's this concept of decision making from the end that Kat is talking about. And this is what probably most people aren't willing to do. And it's why most people keep having the same results with money and with everything again and again. And so when Kat and I connected in February, she's a nurse making $3,000 a month, and she'd recently left that, was in a sales role where her job wasn't even guaranteed. She had to make a certain number of sales to have a job. And we got on a discovery call, and she hadn't made a sale yet. And so we're talking about 10K club, and she's like, well, wouldn't it make more sense to do it after I know I even have a job? And so what we talked about, and I know this is a huge part of why she has Quantum Leap, because she did something that took her to the end and she acted from the end. And again, most people aren't willing to do that. She was like, you know what? The version of me with guaranteed job, with, I can't remember what your income goal was at the time. Was it 20K months?
I think it was, yeah, I think it was 25 was my goal when I
Was
first
that your
started.
first goal? 25K months. And you're like, no, she invests in herself. And so in faith, you invested and you put the deposit down before you even had a guaranteed job. And your first sale came in that night?
Yep.
Right. And
Yep.
so
Right after we got off the call.
it's it's how it works. Decision making from the end is so important here, and remembering that money comes after you decide. Kat, I don't know if you want to speak any more to that and kind of how that works, or I can speak to it too, but from a neuroscience standpoint, it comes after you decide. From an energetic standpoint, it comes after you decide. Do you want to speak any more to that? Because a lot of times people will be like, I don't want the money to ascend or do what I want. You don't need the money. You just need to decide.
I think you just you hit the nail on the head there, is that, and again, it comes back to that whole piece of like getting in alignment with that. So you get in alignment with your end goal. That is a different energetic, money field. It's going to come in at a different rate. It's going to come in ways that you didn't expect it to. Right. And so if we stay in that, well, what if it doesn't, your mind, that whole neuroscience, it's calling in the lack, the scarcity. And so it's putting yourself in that higher energy of it, making that decision from the end, saying that this is happening. And I think this is something that maybe you said, Elyse, a couple, like probably months ago, but it really stuck with me, was what would I do if I had absolute perfect faith? Right? If I had absolute perfect faith that everything that I want is going to happen, that I will always be taken care of, how would I show up in the world? Right. And if God is your source, like it is for mine, then that has multiple meanings to you. And so that really, really stuck with me. And that was something that I think has helped me even more continue to make decisions from the end. Because even now, like, yes, there was that initial investment that I made from the end, but you make decisions from the end every single day and how we show up, right? Even with how I'm talking to my husband, I think he was going to plan on joining this call later, so I'm glad he's not on yet. But like, even how do I want to, talk to him when we have a picture perfect relationship and like we communicate beautifully? How do I communicate with him? Right? It's more than just money, and I'm sure Laura's speaking more about that as she talks about time freedom. But it's also in relationships, and it's in how we show up. It's in everything that we do. And so when you put yourself at that highest version and you step into that person that you guys all have inside of you and that you can envision clearly, it's game over. Watch out, goals. We're being ruthless this year. So, Laura, I would love if you could speak a little bit to the time piece of this, because I think that's it's the hand in hand. I mean, bread and butter.
I loved everything you shared too, Kat. Just your heart around it and your quantum leaping. And I know so many of us in the program have such beautiful stories around all this. And the beauty of this is it is our own individual decision, choices, it's the actions that we take, and really the work that we put in. And I'm so grateful to be here. As Elyse shared, thank you for teeing me up so beautifully. I love you so much. I love everybody in the community and everybody that I've been able to meet thus far. But I've been in the program now for about 4 years, probably a little bit, it feels like it's just been like a wild ride. It's been so cool to really see so much abundance. And I'm super excited to share around time abundance and really a little bit of background on myself. I work on the corporate side, as Elyse shared. I've doubled my income. It was a 6-figure income that I doubled, which is super cool. Like that whole process of things just showing up, like every job that I wanted showing up, and I got to pick. And it's because of this inner work that I've done. And then, I had a dream of really working on the She Sells team, and that's come to fruition, and creating multiple streams of income for myself, and just seeing the beauty of all this. And so, as people often ask me, they're like, how do you do it all? And I'm like, oh, this is so fun. Let's get into this right now. It's really about mindset, right? It's the time abundance. And what I'm going to share with you today is around my relationship with time. I'm going to share around my key shifts in my perception, like before and after, and then some of the mindset shifts that I've had. And so really where I love to dive in, if you're in the program today, Mind Over Matter. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love Dr. Wayne Dyer. Really, they're on my board of directors. I constantly reach out to them energetically. And then, the feminine and masculine, the feminine time mastery was really where I dove in. So coming from a really male dominant environment, was too much in my male dominant, flow energy. But like I shared with you, I want to share with you about time as a relationship. It's like a person. And so before I got into the program, my energy around it was I never had enough time. I felt like I was chasing the clock. I was constantly doing multitasking. It actually became a game. And I figured, I was like, how much can I get done as fast as possible? And I was like, I was getting burnt out. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is, and then I'd like have this time where I just needed to like step away because it was just like push, push, push. And I would always be like, yes, look at how much I can multitask and get done. And yet I wasn't feeling fulfilled inside. And then after just really just leaning into the program, now time feels expansive and I feel like it's on my side. And so somebody's getting my attention, sorry. I'm like, hi. I'm on the 40th floor downtown Chicago right now. But anyway, so the after piece of it is, just time feeling really expansive. And, I do feel like time is on my side. And it took really being intentional and present. And now I create time. And like I shared with you, it's a relationship. And I've transformed it into this co-creation, like a partnership. So thinking about it as a relationship has been really, really shifted a lot for me around time. And so some of the mindset shifts that, I think about is one, I was like, time reflects our mindset. So it's really around the internal beliefs, looking at what are your internal beliefs around time now, and how these internal beliefs will shape your external experience around time. And so time mirrored back to me, what it did is it mirrored back to me the relationship with myself. And so when I was overwhelmed or when I felt resistant, time felt scarce. And so the shift that I really made around this is really trusting, really just shifting into a trust and ease. And suddenly there was more time that was available for me. Now time became abundant when I stopped fighting and chasing and started to flow with it. And so one of the things that I love that's on my affirmation, one of the things I say to myself is, when we change our perception of time, we change how it shows up for us. And so what I love about that is, like, I think about Dr. Dyer. He's like, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so it's like taking his wisdom and kind of turning it into this abundant mindset. And then the second thing is the power of presence. And so, really embracing the present moment and shifting my experience of time. So in the past, I lived in two places with time. It was regret and regret of the past and worry about the future. And so both of these robbed me of being in the present moment. And so what I encouraged, what I really did too, and encourage all of you to is right now is the only moment that matters. Like right now, like sitting back right now and looking at each person on this call and the experience that you're having and the things that you're learning. There's so much power when you're present in the moment with time. And so I would anchor myself in the presence, and I found so much freedom in my tasks that I had when I kind of just aligned with this. Anything that I had, like tasks that I used to take hours to do, now feels effortless because I'm being fully there now, being fully present, and it's not fragmented anymore. And so I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm going to pull some knowledge from him. And he says that the present moment is where all possibility exists. When you stay present, we step into an infinite field of time and potential. Think about that a minute. Oh my God, the power in that, right? The present moment. So some mindset shifts really, I had to release the illusion of being busy and overwhelmed. So it is an illusion. It is a choice. It's something that we decide to really lean into, and you can choose to detach from this, right? So, I chose to detach from this glorification. Like I know, like even in like the corporate environment, it's like everybody wears it as a badge of honor. I'm so busy. I'm like, it's like you talk about how busy you are, and really what it was actually a distraction. And so when I truly aligned and prioritized what truly mattered to me in my day and realized I had more than enough time for things that light me up. And this is where it was like, there was so much freedom. There was so much joy that came in. There was so much ease that came in my day. And so, and one thing I'll share with you, it's again, my little truth bombs I like to share for myself, and I'll share them with you, but it's abundance isn't about having more to do. It's about being more in what you do. So it's like, that is huge. It's being more in what you do. And then the third thing I'll share with you is become the creator of time. You get to be the creator of time. This is so powerful. And so this is being intentional about creating your time. And so instead of letting my day dictate me, I began to design it. And I realized that I could decide how my energy would flow throughout the day. And so we have some really beautiful practices, like morning routine recommendations we talk about in our programs. I have one, I call it a ritual. It's my time that I set aside for myself, really to just pour into me and really be intentional about really how I want my day to unfold. And it's so fun. Like now, like before I'd wake up complaining, like, like not like outwardly, but inwardly. It was like, if really people knew what I was thinking inside, I was like, oh man, like, what do I have to do today? I'm waking up and I was like, but that was a choice that I was making. And I got to change that for myself, and waking up with gratitude and really just knowing that I get to do the things that light me up and that really just inspire me. And so I focused, this focus and this release and letting things go was huge for me. So I created the sense of having all the time in the world. How about that? All the time in the world. We have all the time in the world. And when you see yourself as a creator of your life, time bends to your intention. This is huge. This was so huge for me, how time would bend for me. And it's not about managing time, but it's about you managing you. How about that? That's powerful. And then I want to share the last piece of this is aligning with joy and gratitude. I shared with you kind of around just having this mindset and shifting into joy multiplied my perception of time. And it was like now it expanded me. It aligned, when I aligned with gratitude, things that lit me up, time began to slow down. And it stopped, and I stopped controlling it, and I started savoring it. How would you love to savor time? How would that feel? You could feel that in your body, like even the words that I'm sharing. So, and living in time abundance, right? This is what it's all about. Abundance is many things. And so time isn't outside of us, it's within us. And remembering that it responds to our energy, our beliefs, and our presence. So start seeing it as something you can create more of. And how would your life change and shift? When you change your perception of time, you change how it shows up. We change how it shows up for us. And so I know I shared a lot. I'd be interested. I see a lot of things in the chat here. Yeah.
Gosh, Laura, I learn so much from you every single time that you speak. There's a reason Laura is the one teaching the time. Like, oh my gosh, beautiful. And I think that Leah put in the chat, like, can you give us a real world example of stopping the fighting and accepting the flow of time? Like, what did that look like for you on this journey?
Yeah, so the fighting, I would go inward. What are you fighting? What's the thoughts that come up? I think about what is your relationship with yourself, with time? And so I can't see you on my screen, but if you want to come off and we can do some live coaching, I'd love it.
Okay. Yeah, happy to come off. What you're saying about time really resonates with me, which I'm sure does for many folks. Similar to Elyse, I'm pregnant with my second 2 under 2 situation, which we're very excited about, but I constantly feel at odds with there's only 2 options, and I just don't believe this, where you're either working full time and totally burned out as a mother, or you're a stay-at-home mom, which isn't necessarily what I feel called to either. And I feel like there's some sort of place in between where I can best serve my family, I can best serve my business, and I feel incredibly overwhelmed by all of those things. And so when you're saying like you felt like you were fighting because you were overwhelmed with all of your responsibilities and time felt very tight, it almost feels constricting. Like I have no oxygen when I think about all the responsibilities of like wanting to clean my house or wanting to meal prep and then wanting to spend time with the kids and then focus on my business. And so I think there's a lot that I'm fighting, but I'm not totally sure how to remove myself from that and create that positive energy, if that makes sense, around time.
Yeah.
It's probably a lot,
so
but it's the best way to describe it.
It's so beautiful. I want to commend you for the awareness around this. And part of being in the community with us too is around seeing how this can be done. And, the belief of it and knowing that this can change for you. And one of the big things that I would encourage you to remove from this is the one thing that we all encourage in the program is to drop the word overwhelm. So, the word overwhelm, if you feel it, you feel heavy around it, right? It's around the energy that you have around it. And so when you change it to a different word. So what I did is I was like, I'm in demand. Like people want me in their space. And so you show up differently when you change the energy around the words. And we do a lot of work around this inner work, this inner beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, and help you shift out of these because it is the inner work that really helps. It's the thing that transforms your external world. And so before I thought I had to control the external world around me. If I could just do this, if I could just make this person do that, if I could just multitask, if I could, but it was like, no, the real shift came when I went within myself, gave myself the space I needed to pour into myself, and then changed my relationship with my thoughts, emotions, and feeling, and who I started to be was different. I saw Elyse should come off good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
I'm loving listening to what you're sharing, Laura. Can you all understand me? Is my voice like, is it okay? I wanted to add a couple things to this. So Leah, congratulations on your baby on the way. It's so
Thank
exciting.
you. Thank you, you too.
Yeah, thank you. And one of the things that I think is so important in this work is that we all make our own rules about how time works for us, how money works for us. I remember one of the first mentors who I worked with, not one of the first mentors, but a mentor I worked with when I came into her energy and working with her. I was a brand new mom making $100,000 a year, working like 40 to 60 hours a week, right? And thinking, how in the world am I gonna be there for my son and be present and still be successful at work? Because I was in the grind mindset and I was still in kind of the overwhelm hustle mindset. And so when I heard that she was a mom of three, working 2 to 3 hours a day, making 3.5 million a year, I was like, okay, there's something different. There's another way to do this, right? There's a different possibility. And so to now, several years later, be able to be a woman who's running a 7-figure plus business on its way to 8 figures, working part-time hours, being present as a mom for my kids. I want to just say you have a lot of options for how to do this. I think it's important to be in community with other people who are making their own rules about time. There's so much that Laura shared there about how to bend time and space from even just like a quantum physics standpoint and an energy standpoint. So time is nonlinear. Time is a human construct. All of us here have probably had those moments where it felt like we were so present and time slowed down and we were just really there, right? And we soaked it up, whether it's your with your baby when they're born, or you're watching a beautiful sunset. And then there's also times when we're in the energy of overwhelm or busy, and it feels like things are just like time is going so fast and we can't keep up, right? What's the difference? It's your energy. And so there are beautiful trainings in the modules about how to both expand and collapse time, how to slow it down and speed it up. And then the other thing I would say too is from a tactical standpoint, remembering you got to delegate to elevate, right? So you thinking about what is really important to me in this new season of life, right? Where I'm going to have 2 under 2. I'm going to, I want a successful business. You got to define what that looks like for you and what your highest and best role is in that. And then know you are worthy of outsourcing. You are worthy of delegating. You are worthy of getting help. Like at a certain point, it costs you to clean your house. It costs you to do your own laundry. It costs you to do the meal prep. And I think what's powerful about this community is everyone is doing something in their own way. So we have members of this community who are like, I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm flying on private jets. I'm speaking on the top stages. Awesome, right? And they're powerhouse moms, parents, dads. We also have members of the community who are like, you know what? I want to build a 6-figure business, or I want to build a business that does X amount per month. And it may not be some astronomical number from what a lot of people would say, but it's the amount that feels like abundance for them that creates their own experience of abundance for them to live that fullest expression of them. And then they're like, I want to work X number of hours per week, be be a mom, we've got a woman in our community. I don't think she's on live today. Maybe she is. I don't know. But we were doing a coaching call a couple of weeks ago and she's got a successful business. And her heart was like, I want to have more time as a homemaker. I was like, beautiful. Let's help you. Like that, if that's the fullest expression of you, let's help you do that. Right. So everyone is different. Abundance is different for everyone. But what we're talking about today and what Kat and Laura have spoken about so powerfully is what it's like to ascend into abundance with both money and time. And you've got to make your own rules for what that looks like for you. But you can absolutely have a thriving, powerhouse business where you're making more money than you ever thought possible, and you're present with your kids, right? You've got a great family life. It's absolutely possible. And using some of what Laura said there, like just deciding you're not available for overwhelm, drop the word busy from your vocabulary, and then really come from a place of worthiness with what is the best and highest use of my time? What is it that I and only I can do both in my business and as a mom, right? And then be worthy enough to get the help you need to support you in that. I think we talked about this yesterday. Your level of income will never exceed your level of self-worth. So you want to bring in more money, you start showing up as a really worthy woman. How would a really worthy woman run her household? 2 kids under 2. How would a really successful business owner making whatever it is you want to make run her business and her household? What help does she get? What does she do? What does she let other people do for you? So there's both again, the energetics is the bulk of it, right? And there's also the tactical, strategic point. We're always taking action from our level of consciousness. So we want to help ascend your consciousness first to be a match with the woman who's having the results that you desire. And then from there, the action piece flows more easily and you're taking more aligned actions. Like I mentioned yesterday, when I turned my annual income and my monthly income, I worked way less during that time, but it was a different level of consciousness, right? And a different mindset. So I don't know if there's anything that shows up for you with that, but I just wanted to jump in because you get to make your own rules with this for sure.
No, that's great. And I think there is power in community, and sometimes that community is lacking. So I really appreciate you just echoing Laura's words as well. Thank you.
Totally. Kat, take it away. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think that it would be really great just to wrap up one thing, kind of like how we did in the money, is like, how do we get ourselves there? And so, Laura, what would you tell someone if they are having a moment where they're really feeling in demand, right? Maybe they've got, they've got the kids that need to get ready for bed. They want to be prepping for dinner. All of the things are happening and they're feeling that overwhelmed feeling, kind of like what Leah was saying, where it's just like suffocating. What do you do in that exact moment to help realign yourself with that energy that you just spoke so highly of?
Yeah, it's a practice. It's a daily practice. So what I'm sharing is something that I do on a daily basis, is really, connecting back in with my heart, like centering myself. It's really closing my eyes and doing a quick meditation around this, and really just feeling coming back to the center. And, I do some breath work with it, and it literally can take just 5 minutes to just really recenter, remind yourself of, with our kids, like, how do we want to be present with them? How do we want to show up with them? What is the experience we want to have with them right now? It's really around creating this experience of reminding yourself and coming back into your body and really just realigning. There's a lot of power around this, and it takes intention and it takes, practice with this. And it's a beautiful thing. How would you love to be present? Like, just watching your kids. I think about my granddaughter I just spent some time with, and watching my daughter, but just like sitting with her and playing with her toys. And like, I turned on this fun little song with her, like it was head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And she just lit up, and just was so happy. And like, being in that present moment with that was so beautiful. That's what she's going to remember.
It's such a good reminder. Such a good reminder. And I wanted to end on that because I think so many people resonated with your story, Leah, about like just feeling like, oh, there's so much, right? And I think, Laura, you just hit it beautifully. It's just to recenter ourselves. But yes, Elyse, I did want to circle back because I saw Kelsey, you had a question about money flowing and the blocks at looking at it flowing, and kind of what to do around. All right, let's say we really want to have, I loved your example there. You want to buy a really nice car, right? But you don't have the cash on hand. How would we think through that decision? Right. And so, well, when you are about to buy a nice car, what do you typically do? Right. Because we're making decisions from the end. So how would we go about it if we were buying a nice car? because someone come off mute and say like, okay, you're about to buy a car. Where do you typically go? What do you do?
Go test drive one that you like.
That's right. Exactly. Right. So we're still making those steps as decisions. We're going to go and we're going to actually go to the dealership of whatever car it is that you have in mind. And like, maybe we start by just like browsing, kind of get in the energy of it. Maybe we'll sit in the cars, you can go and you can sit in them and feel it and just continue to kind of get ourselves in that energy.
Smell it.
And then smell it, right? Like all the senses, get everything involved, really take and do what Laura's talking about, where, you take a second, you be present in that moment, where you sit in that car, you smell that nice new leather, got your hands on the wheel, you're picturing driving your kids to soccer practice or picking them up from school or doing whatever it is, your daily task, and you're feeling that energy of it. And what that's going to do is it's going to help you realign yourself with that. And so that way, when you're driving your car, you can sit and picture and remember what it was like to be in the nice car. And you continuously, it's like, how do I get more and more nudges of that throughout the day? And so thank you for bringing that up, Kelsey, because that is so true. And it's things, I mean, even with houses, right? Maybe you go tour a couple houses. Thomas and my husband and I, we love, literally sometimes we go drive around nice neighborhoods and just look and see what open houses are available. Right? It doesn't have to be this thing where we're wasting realtors' time, although I don't believe in that. But maybe you're just going into open houses, doing all these things. Put the pedal to the metal, as Cindy said. I love it. Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions? Oh yeah, Elyse, please.
Yeah, Kat, because that's exactly that's exactly it. And so you get as close as you can to it, whatever it is. If it's a new car, if it's a new house, if it's a program, whatever it is, you get as close as you can to it. By law, you will always have what it takes to take the next step. So with the car, I'd look at, can you put down a down payment and do a payment plan, right? So like there's always options, right? If you can't do that for whatever reason, then yeah, you go test drive, you go get there, you get in the energy of it. The how comes after you decide for everything, So you decide that you're having it, and then you take, what's the next step I can take towards this? Shanna, to your question, it totally depends on the energy you're in. Hold on, you just moved on my screen. You said, you take the income you just got and pay towards your credit card payment or go buy a new pair of shoes. Love it. Totally depends on the energy you're in, right? So if you are aligning with your highest self and you're there and you feel it and you're connected and there's the nudge, go buy this pair of shoes. You buy the pair of shoes in faith and in gratitude that more is coming in, but you have to know, you have to have a knowing when you're doing it that more is coming in and that you'll also have the money for the credit card payment. So you may not have observed it in the 3D, but there needs to be an energetic knowing in you, right? So the energy in which you flow money is really important. The energy in which you do a thing determines the outcome of the thing. So I've done plenty of things with money where someone would be like, that doesn't make logical sense. But my knowing was from the end, I just connected with the version of myself from the end, this investment in whatever it is, if it's a pair of shoes, a bag, a program, whatever, but I'm feeling intuitively guided. I'm doing it as a moment of self-definition that I am a woman who does this, has this, etc. This is me at my next level. Now I'm also making sure that my bills are paid while I do that, right? So I'm not like avoiding the bills, sticking my head in the sand. I'm making sure that whatever needs to happen is happening there. But so it's all about the energy that you're in when you do it. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Okay, Kat, I think I'm done.
I saw, Michelle, that your hand was raised. So I'd love to chat with you for a second.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share something about the car thing. It was an experience that I did not expect to have happen. I was looking to buy a new car, and then my friend went out of town for a week, and she said, drive my car if you want. And I said, okay, because I really liked her car. And she goes, just drive it all around wherever you want to go. And I thought, okay. So I started driving it back and forth to the office. By the end of that week, she came back on a Friday. I think it was Sunday that I went out and bought the same car because I just immersed myself in it. And
Beautiful.
I was like, I can't not do, like, I know I need a new car. What am I waiting for? Never regretted it. So it was
Beautiful story with that.
really unexpected experience. I just wanted to share.
I love that so much. I love that so much. Well, I think that leads us perfectly into our winner for today for the 100K in a day, because she comes in and she's ready to see what's in store for her. And so I was super excited to find out that it was actually Jill Vin who won today. I know. And no one is more deserving. I actually thought of you this week. Yes. I thought of you this week as I was picking up my word, or when I came across my word, because I was like, Jill has really been stepping out in audacity, in faith over the last few weeks on social media. And so I just want to let you know I see that. And I'm so excited that you have won our 100K in a day program. So
I'm
it's
so
a complete
thankful.
blueprint.
Thank you.
Yay. Yay. Yeah, and it's a complete blueprint that's going to help build you to that 6-7 figure thought leadership business online, which is perfect for you. So I'm so excited.
Thank you.
And so I would also like to open, Elyse, if you're feeling up for it, if your voice is good, then I'll have you interview Allison. Otherwise, I'd be happy to. But Allison is going to share a little bit of her story, and so excited for you guys to hear from her. Plus, she's rocking that red lipstick today, so we're in for a treat.
Oh, good. I just want to say really quick before we do Allison's Spotlight, Jill, I've wanted you to have this program for so long. I was so excited when your name came back as the winner. Like, this is going to be so good for you with what you're doing. There's some mindset, but it's very strategic and tactical for building out your thought leadership, your coaching business. And so I'm truly so happy for you. Kayla will make sure you get connected with it and set up. And you're going to absolutely love it. So yay, congrats.
Well,
So
this
happy.
program has been so valuable, and I have spent all my time in the mindset, as some of you know, intentionally. And so this is the next aligned step. So perfect timing. Thank you.
So good. We cannot wait to hear your wins and what shows up as you go through the material, and just celebrate with you on our next 10K call as well. So huge congrats. Okay, beautiful. I told my team, I was like, if I can do one thing today, I want to interview this beautiful soul and bring her to you. So I am so excited to just to give a couple minutes here to share a story of an incredible, incredible woman, community member, leader. She has been a client, private client. She's now a consultant getting certified in this material. She's a powerhouse speaker, leader, coach, consultant, trainer in her own right, and just someone who I love and adore very, very deeply. So, Allison, do you want to come off mute and introduce yourself and say hi to the community?
Yes, of course. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, my name is Allison Lacusier, and I have been an entrepreneur for about 5 years now. And I'm a professional speaker. I coach on leadership, business success, worthiness, and my journey so interestingly actually very much started meeting Elyse in person in Bermuda. And she has just shaped a lot of my growth, my journey, my healing, and my success. Honestly, it has completely reframed the way that I operate as a human. And I think about this all the time. I'm like, where would I be without Elyse Archer today? I really don't know. I really don't know. I'm so grateful to you. So the work that I do in my industry, I coach and lead a lot of women in the dental world. I speak to high performers. I talk about the neuroscience of leadership and success. And currently, I live in Calgary, Alberta, and have lived in the island of Bermuda for 14 years. So I'm definitely a little bit of a warm baby, but I'm here in the cold today in Calgary.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's always so fun just to think back like to the synchronicities and how we met and how we connected, and who knew at that moment. I remember meeting you for lunch like so many years ago that we'd be here today. So If you want to share just a little bit, I know there's been some fun recent developments that you had shared with the consultants, and I was like, oh, I want you to come on and share that. But even if we can take a step back to kind of your earlier journey and when you got involved in this community and this program and kind of what was happening in your life, what happened for you as a result, and then we can maybe speed up a little bit to more present day and some of the fun things that are happening for you right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It was funny when I was thinking about my personal journey with Elyse. I was like, Elyse, which part of this should I share? Because there's so many. But from the beginning, I mean, I've always been somebody who has thought I'm gonna do big things. I'm gonna have an impactful life. I've always thought that. And what I didn't know is that I could do that without the consequences of my personal life. I thought that so much of my entrepreneurship was you need to hustle and grind and work hard. And that's the only way that you can achieve the things and the dreams that you have. Because I had big dreams, big goals. And I remember just learning and actually just watching Elyse because I feel it's so important, like as a coach, as an entrepreneur, to invest back into yourself and to spend time with those around you that have what you want and have achieved the things that you want in your life. Like success leaves clues. And so when I saw Elyse talking about, flow and feminine energy and being able to work less, I was like, what is this? I want it because I'm an entrepreneur who financially became very successful very quickly, but it was at the cost of a lot of my personal time in life. And I just recognized that, thinking from the end in mind, I want a family, I want time freedom, I want to spend time doing the things that I love. I need to learn this now so that I can change the trajectory of my business success because I had essentially created a very, very profitable business that was a trap for me. And, we have these money goals and I love money and I love making money and I love earning money. But when you're making a lot of money and you don't have time and you don't have the connection to the things that you really want to do, like it really doesn't feel that good. And so working with Elyse, I made the decision. I just knew I needed to work with her on a deeper level. And so I made the choice to work with her privately. And I was very afraid of the financial investment. Like, I was like, I don't know about this. I didn't want to talk to anybody about it because I knew kind of similarly, like they weren't in my shoes. They didn't live my life. They wouldn't give me the advice that I felt would be worthwhile to me. So I kept it very much to myself. And I made the decision to work with Elyse privately. And I'm not like, I, this sounds like a joke, but it's not a joke. It's actually what happened. 3 days later, I negotiated a contract and made the entire investment back. And the only way, truly the only way I could have done that was by working with her. We had a private intensive that weekend. And the the result of that private intensive was that I elevated myself so strongly into my self-worth, my level of leadership, thinking from the end in mind, and recognizing that the contract and the work that I was doing with this company, I was being wholeheartedly underpaid. And so I went back in this whole spirit of energy and communication strategies that Elyse helped me with, and they agreed to pay me 6 figures more than I was already earning. And it was like one of those like moments in my career that I was so proud of. And, it just continued from there. And so working with Elyse privately, Kelsey said this yesterday so beautifully, like, yes, I was able to hit my financial goals and my company grew, but truly most importantly to me, I feel like I got to connect back to myself, like who I truly am as a person, as a woman. And when we look at the longevity of success, the more aligned you are to who you are, that's how we create long-term success. And I was so far away from that person that the amount of healing that it took in that year, the amount of self like work and just getting to know my inner self and holding space for her was just like it brought my life back, really. And so from there, it allowed me to really like think about the impact that I want to make in the world and in the industry, and then take my energy and channel it towards that. And so in that, in my career, I've been able to just like get on stages really quickly and, bring in lots of clients, lots of abundance. And it's just been very fantastic. But the most important thing about it is it's in alignment with who I believe I am and my bigger purpose in life. And I think that's how we create the best success.
It has been such a joy watching you ascend. And I remember that intensive so well. We had so much fun. And then when you told me the money came right after, it's how it works. It's exactly what we were talking about with Kat earlier about decision making from the end, right? And this is how we get to learn to think and to operate when we're ascending, is saying, going back to who you connected with yesterday when you were tuning into what is that perfect self-expression and what does she or he do, right? And so you did that and you took action as that person. And it's just been so beautiful. And I know you're doing so many things in your life too to support other women and building up some really cool things in the nonprofit space as well. Maybe for the sake of time, because I feel like I would like spend the whole hour asking you about all the things because it's so good. You had shared something kind of fun recently that you created in our consultant chat. So if you just want to share your recent win too, I thought that was just really fun.
Yes, absolutely. So I've been working with Elyse. I did the 50K club. I have done private coaching. I've been in the 10K as well. And that's been like a theme for me for my last like 5 years of entrepreneurship. And then last year, for whatever reason, I was just like, I think I'm good now. Like I think my energy's good. Like I'm in this good space. And so I went probably like 7 months without being in any program. And I was like feeling just so, I don't know. I was like, I need this energy again. So when Elyse announced that she was going to have bring a team together for the consultancy, I honestly felt like I manifested that, by the way, Elyse, because I was just like dreaming of ways we could work together for the last like
Probably
4 years.
did.
But when I got back into all these practices, like none of them were like specifically new to me, but I was hearing them in different ways. And I just made this commitment to myself, like as we're diving back into this content, as I'm learning how to teach it in different ways, I'm going to go all in within that in my energy. I'm going to go all in on everything I'm learning. I'm going to show up as the woman that is. I'm going to like do all the things that I'm learning and just live into being that excellent student. And within 3 weeks, I closed 100K in new contracts for my business. And it was easy and it was fun and it was aligned. And it was just like, oh, yeah, this is the work. This is the work that we're doing. And I just continue to like dream bigger, which is what now I'm recognizing our biggest limitation is that we just aren't dreaming big enough in the sense of what is possible for us. And so now I keep dreaming bigger and imagining who is the woman who can double her income and half her time in her business? Who is the woman who can double her income and spend more time in joy and horseback riding and doing all the things that I love to do? And it gets to be fun because I know now that the real work is me becoming that woman. And it will automatically show up because I'm becoming that woman. And it gets to be like aligned and beautiful and fun. And it does not have to be this painful slugfest of exhaustion. If that's what it is, it's not aligned. And this work will get you aligned so that you can be the things that you want and the things that you desire in your life.
Gosh. I just love you. I love you. And something else that I think is important that you shared, and then Kat, I'll turn it back over to you, is we can come back to the same material, but you're at a different level of consciousness. And so we, even in 10K, we made a decision a while back to give lifetime access to that content when you've been through it, when you've invested in the program. So you can come back to it again and again, and you'll get something new and different out of it every single time because you've ascended. You're at a different level. And so I love you. We love you. You're amazing. Thank you for sharing your story and just for being in my life and being in our lives. And you're just a beautiful soul. So much love to you.
Right back at you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was awesome, Allison. And I hope you guys also found that story as inspiring as I did, because I've never even heard that. That's crazy. 3 days and right back. It's no surprise. Like I had the same experience happen, but it's like, man, it's just amazing every time. Amazing every time. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Like drop a 1 in the chat if you've already had some shifts or the epiphanies from the past day and a half as we've been kind of working through this? If you want to go all out, I would love to also hear what they are.
I actually just, Kat, I just highlighted, bolded it, So listening
Yeah.
to Laura, Allison, I'm sorry. Thank you so much. I was puzzling over, I wonder how much it costs to add private coach. I was sort of like puzzling. I wrote that down and then wondering how that accelerated the process. But then I thought, yeah, but I would really love making this extra money. I'd love to upgrade my house. I want to take the family to Alaska. I've got travel plans, things like that. And then I wrote down, it shouldn't be, and I was just listening to Allison, and it's what brought the word, shouldn't be an either or. If I think abundantly, I will have more than enough for all of it. And then right then, as I finished it, you said, not dreaming big enough. And I thought, big capital, like, oh my God, that's the sentence. Like, it was incredible.
Not dreaming big enough.
Yeah.
So good.
Anyway, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. What a takeaway, not dream big enough. And I don't know, for those of you who are on the 50 call, Kay, this morning, we had a guest mentor come in. And in the background of his thing, he had a sign that says, think big, be bold, and say yes. And I literally wrote it down and I was like, man, I like that guy, because he just had that sign just chilling in the background. I'm like, okay, subconscious programming. I love that. So that's super fun, guys. And then I would love to also type another one in the chat if you think that going deeper into this material and being immersed, Allison said it beautifully, being immersed in this on a regular basis would allow you guys to get more shifts. It would ultimately help you make more money, grow your sales or your business, and elevate your life pretty tremendously. Seen a lot of ones.
Kat, can I just also add, like, I wrote this down, like, we move mountains, like your must will move mountains. Like, that was the decision I made. I was like, this is not an if for me. Like, I'm like, this is a must for me.
Yeah.
And like, this
Beautiful.
investment feels scary, but like that is just done. Consider it done, because I'm putting this energy in. Like, consider it done. My dreams are done. And I think that's how we get to make those shifts so quickly when we make those decisions, Shelly, like to invest in ourselves or to, decide what we want. It's pretty incredible how it just happens.
Absolutely. Yeah, beautifully said. Let's have the audacity to say yes, guys. I'm just going to keep circling it back through. So get ready to be sick of it. All of you will have the word audacity by 2025. But I would love to speak to you guys about our programs, because I've been in both and they're amazing. And so we do have some great bonuses that we're offering this month as well, designed to help you guys create that most abundant business and life faster than you thought possible. And so what I want you to do is first, like, imagine what it would do for you to be in this energy every single day. Like, think about how you're feeling now. Are you feeling inspired? Are you feeling ready to take on the day? Right? We want to make sure we're coming at it, and again, making those decisions from that end place. Like, okay, if we are in this community of people who are ascending right along with you, if you're able to talk to Allison and myself and Shelly and Christy and Shauna and Jill and all these people that are all kind of moving forward at the same time, what would that be like? Right? Just kind of sitting in that to start. And so our first program that I'd like to speak to, and this is the one that I joined when I started, was the 10K Club. And so this is our signature group coaching, right? So where are our 10K clubbers at? If you guys can raise your hand so we can say who's here. Awesome. So what this program is it's an immersive 6-month program where we're going to really dive deep into the 4 quadrants to help you quantum leap, right? So it's 6 months because this is a runway for you guys, right? Like, we want this to be, you're coming in, we are quantum leaping, right? Like, you feet on the ground, that's what we're doing, right? And so the 4 quadrants that we kind of break you through are going to be mind over matter, money, masculine and feminine energies, and method, right? So the powerful business, sales, and strategies here, plus that live customization and strategy for you guys live on the group coaching calls. This is really for anyone, but we see really great success with our entrepreneurs, our sales professionals, people that are starting, that are trying to start their own coaching, or you want to be speakers, right? All of these things, and you'll have access to this full training suite. And I'm sure you've heard a couple of us mention some of these modules because they are so powerful. And Elyse also talking about now giving us lifetime access, being able to no matter, this is like a quantum leap blueprint, right? So you might have a quantum leap now, but even 10 years from now, when you're quantum leaping into another space, like, man, being able to come back into that So there's hundreds of hours, like hundreds and hundreds of hours. And so twice a month, you'll have access to group coaching as well as talking about how to implement those things, right? So we've got, there's open coaching, kind of like what we've done today on like, what's coming up for you guys when, like Leah talking about the time scarcity, like open coaching, working through that together as a team and collaborating there, but also just implementing, like, how do we actually, Laura said it beautifully earlier, talking about, what does my morning routine need to look like if I'm creating space for myself to show up as that person creating that time. So things like that. We also have a live event ticket. Elyse could maybe speak to this a little bit, but we have live events that are awesome and a beautiful way for the community to get together. Elyse, I don't know if you want to share a little bit of the kind of plans for this upcoming year.
Yeah, for sure. And this is so good. And in a minute, I want you to speak to how you use the modules, because I know you like, again, going from no sales
little obsessive.
No, but
Yeah.
it's powerful because Kat went from no sales experience to selling over $1 million in 7 months. And I know that she uses it, but she makes it work on her own time as well while she travels the country and does the things. But yeah, so the program does currently include a live event ticket. So all of you who are already in, you have a live event ticket included for our next one. Those of you who are enrolling now, you will have a live event ticket included. I don't even think I've shared this with my team, but either after, I don't know if it'll be end of this month or December, that's probably going to switch to like a credit towards like a discount on an event ticket. But right now you have the full live event ticket. Who here has been to one of our live events before? We've got, and we're doing some special things. I've got some surprise things coming up for some of you in 2025 as well, which we'll share soon, which I'm really excited about. But for 2025, we're looking at a summer event. My due date's in April. So we're working some things around that. But it'll be a summer event. It will very likely be here in Maine. But we'll be announcing more details soon. So Carolina, to your question, yeah. And we're going to be doing, the plan right now is to do a bonus day on the back end of that for the mastermind and for our VIP private clients as well. But all of you who are enrolling and getting in today, you get a free ticket to that event. That's a $3,000 ticket that you can use to come to an event. And all of you who are already clients, you have that as well. So it's a really powerful experience, and it's super powerful, I think, to be in the room. They're
100%.
experiential. There's beautiful training. And I can just tell you, going into next year, it's going to be next level from anything we've done before. There's so much growth that's happened in us, in me, even just in the past few months. And so I'm bringing a whole new level of consciousness to everything we do. And so the training, the experience, how you're going to grow is going to be phenomenal. So yeah, I mean, there's so much more I could say, but for the sake of time.
Yeah, so excited about all of that. And the live events are so fun. They're so fun. So super excited that still includes that ticket. And then of course we just started adding, and Laura has been a huge reason for this, but has been adding these implementation calls, right? So 4-quadrant implementation calls throughout the month to help you go deeper into the material in a more smaller group setting, right? And so to what Elyse was saying is like getting into the material. When I was initially came into this program and was quantum leaping, I was listening to Elyse every day. I joke that I was like, we ate breakfast together, we went on walks together. I was like, Elyse and we just became besties real quick, right? Because I was listening to the same modules over and over and over. But that's how we reprogram our subconscious, right? If we all want to be thinking differently, we have to have that in our ear. And so we also, if you guys are current clients, we do now, you can get it on an app form on the Thinkific and be listening to it even better on a more streamlined surface. It's like awesome. So you can text me if you have any questions about getting that there. But it is incredible. So those quadrants, making sure we're like breaking down and going through the science of it, and just listening to it every day. And of course, like now you get lifetime access to that. It's awesome. Another additive that we have too is the corporate sales mastermind. So are any of you guys in corporate? I know I am, and I know a lot of you other ladies are. I see some familiar faces from that, but Laura's also leading that. That is for, you know, us, those of us who are in that corporate and wanting to say, okay, but how do we make this work for when I'm not my own boss, right? Like, how do I implement these kind of things in that way? And so just really kind of diving into it and incorporating that even when we're not in full control of what's going on. It's beautiful because we always control ourselves and our perception of things. And then of course now we have our 10K for men. So we have a men's mastermind, which is super, super exciting. I think Brandon is on here. Did I see him?
He was,
But
I
he is,
think it was on the
he
first
was.
hour, but he may have had to jump the second hour.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, him and Elyse are running that, co-running that together. And it is just, so far it's been awesome. We just launched how many months ago now? 2 or 3? 2?
Like a month. We had our first call
a month
last week, maybe.
Yeah.
It's very, very recent. We had
For the
had
two men on the call, can you tell us a little bit more about that? Sorry, I'm late. I had to take a little nap because I'm an old man. So
You do not look like an old man, Travis. Not even close.
Not a big event. I told Allison, so she knows I got a hall pass for the first
Oh
time.
my gosh, so funny. Yeah, Travis, I'm happy to, I can speak to it. I'm happy to speak to it, and I'll do my best with my with my voice today. But yeah, definitely go back and listen to the first part too, because Allison gave a very cool story in the first part. But we're so glad to have you. So when we launched this company and this brand about 4 years ago, you know, under the flagship of She Sells, my background was actually working with more men than women as a coach and trainer. But I saw a real need for material and coaching designed for women, just because I was coming from a very male dominated environment, like a lot of the women here are. And so I wanted to create something in a community and training that I felt like I was missing when I was coming up. And what's been so beautiful and powerful as we've grown and ascended is these principles are really so universal, right? So even for men, learning how to tap into, you know, we call it feminine energy, but it's really flow state, like that state you're in when you hit the hole in one on the golf course, right? Or you're just like jamming during the day and it's making sense and tapping more into vision and inspiration. We've had so many men along the years say, hey, when are you going to launch He Sells? When are you going to have a community that's just for me? And so we're in the process of launching a bigger brand that's not so geared towards women outwardly on the marketing side, but we wanted to also have something available now for men in the community because the principles are so universal. And I've coached men privately the whole time we've been running this company. But so the men's mastermind, it's a special component of 10K. So you get everything in 10K Club. You're invited to the large group calls that I'm leading most of those. But then we also have a smaller group of men who are meeting twice a month to talk about this material from a man's perspective, because it is different, right? And so that's, I was honored to sit in on the first call last week. And it was real. And I just sat in and I observed because we've got a male coach leading it. And so I'm letting him facilitate. But the conversations were really powerful. And it was, again, around this material, but through a man's lens. And so you have access to that as part of your program in 10K if you're coming in and part of the men's mastermind. Does that help answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I come from IBM Oracle Enterprise Sales, but I'm an entrepreneur, so I get it all. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
And I used to sound like you, Allison. Do you remember that? I used to sound like her for years until I bought a wedge pillow, and now I sleep with a wedge pillow, and it fixed my voice. I mean, I'm a little tired right now, but try a wedge pillow.
There you go.
That's my Jewish mother input. That's what she said yesterday, right, Shelley?
Yeah, I'll consider you a novice, Travis, but I'm open to teaching and mentoring. So.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, I love it, guys. You never know what you're gonna get on.
Hey, I got the street cred though. Sorry, Travis. There's only so much you can do.
Jill, to your question of will we have He Sells Live workshops? Great question. So the plan right now is as we launch the Superhuman Selling brand, that the events are under that umbrella and that they're for everyone. So the event next year in the summer, that's going to be for everyone. We may have men's workshops live. I don't know. It's possible for sure. But as of right now, the event next year and the workshops it's for everyone. More just under the Superhuman Selling brand umbrella. Yeah. Kat,
And
keep
I do
rolling.
want to just, yeah, I was about to say, I do want to just encourage you guys that you're also reaching out to your success advisors if you guys have questions on this, and like have conversations about what it would look like for you to actually join this, and we'll help tailor it to what you're experiencing currently in your business, in your life, and your goals, where you want to go, and how we can really use this material to bridge that gap and again get you on that runway. So super excited to talk with you guys more about that. And yep, thank you, Kayla, for putting in the 10K program page is also right there in the chat now. And so you're free to kind of look through that and then book calls with us, or you can even enroll right online. We have two different options there. If you wanted to do an upfront, there is savings. And so then it would be 10,000 for the full program, or we also offer a payment plan to split it monthly, and that would be 2,000 a month. Of course, we also have a funding partner. So, you know, if you need some assistance in finding those funds, again, reach out to your success advisor. We'd be happy to connect you with one of our funding partners and see how we can continue to work together. So that's like our 10K program. That's, you know, our first program that I wanted to speak to today. But the second one is our 50K Club Mastermind program. And so this is also open for enrollments. It's a high-level mastermind for female entrepreneurs and sales professionals already at that six-figure level, ready to go to multi-six or even seven figures, right? So this is for, if you want, a high-level group of women who are unapologetically going for more, but have the audacity to go for more, right? A powerful combination of both the group coaching and masterminding, as well as guest mentor. So I know I briefly mentioned we had a guest mentor this morning talking about marketing and how to, you know, incorporate all of these things into our businesses. So there's so many different people. I love that about Elyse, is that she brings in different minds for us to learn from, right? Like she's not this almighty, like she knows everything type of thing. And it's beautiful to see her kind of leverage other people's minds in that way. Like I love it so much. So that, you know, they're coming in teaching topics like world-class marketing and branding, spiritual business growth, ascending wealth consciousness, all of these things. And so this program, it includes everything in the 10K that we just went over, plus you'll get 2 additional monthly group calls, access to a group Marco Polo chat where we have Elyse and the rest of the women in between calls where we can send videos and messages back and forth to each other, additional event and retreat days, as well as a 90-minute private call with Elyse. So we're including this for now, but this will be going away in 2025, just based on Elyse's in-demand schedule and Davion's the way. But it is, you know, just a high-level group of women in a conversation where you'll ascend financially, business-wise, and really all areas of life, and have a lot more access to Elyse through this mastermind. So very much in the inner circle that way. But I would actually love, if we have time, Elyse, to see if Christy, if you wanted to come off mute and just tell us a little bit about your experience, because you are in kind of all of the programs. I'd love to hear.
Thank you. If Knox joins us, don't worry. He may jump up on me. He hears Elyse and Kat, and he's all in. I'm just very blessed. I have similar stories to all, but when I heard Elyse speak at a mastermind that I was attending in April, it just called to me, and that energy, I just wanted to be in her energy. And now what's even more special is the connections and the friendships that I've built with folks that are really in doing the work that we're doing and aligning in so many beautiful ways. I just feel so blessed. The 50K Club is honestly just, I love hearing what other people are up to, what they're doing. We get a lot of opportunities to discuss that and get coaching from Elyse. So we're just constantly learning and growing. And on the days that Elyse doesn't have a guest speaker, we're diving deeper into some of the work that Elyse has based her knowledge and program on. So I don't even know what to say other than I am just so blessed that these paths have crossed, and then everyone that Elyse has brought into my life through this work and through the community. It really is, it just changed my life. The way I think about things, the way I look at things. I know if some of you saw in the chat, of course, it was 10 minutes before we were getting on, and my guy runs down the stairs and he goes, and I could tell by the look on his face, I go, George, what's up? He goes, well, we could fix the motor for 1,400, or you could buy a new heater and not worry about it. I go, buy a new heater. He goes, you don't even know what it costs. I go, the new version of me doesn't care. What?
There you go, Christine.
And you know what? It just, the old me would have been worried, like, oh my gosh, I didn't budget for this. I'm doing this. I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll figure it out. And it just is so fabulous to live in this abundance of time and money. And it just truly is, it's not about the money anymore, right? It's coming in. It's just about, I always say, I'm protecting my woo-woo. I don't want to leave this space. And it's constant work, like Laura said, it's constant work every day, but having the community and being in it and being able to share, it is just, I can't say enough, Elyse. You know, I could blabber on for days.
We sure love you and your woo-woo. That is for sure. Thank you for sharing. That's perfect.
I think, you know, one other thing I do want to say is just to emphasize the point that Laura was talking about earlier, and about every day. You know, there are times I'm still in corporate America looking to transfer out of that. But while I'm there, I'm still trying to show up as the woman that I'm ascending to be. And I do look at my calendar, and what allows me to get in that mindset, which is such a great practice, is who do I want to be today? So I can look at my calendar and I can see some of the trigger points of my day and prepare for them in advance, so that when I do show up, it's efficient, it's effective, and whatever is said, especially in corporate America, it rolls off my back and I move on. And it really, all of these practices have changed my life.
Beautiful. I love that. Roll it off the back. That's right. And of course, we do have some powerful bonuses available for you guys this month. So if you enroll in either 10K or 50K club by midnight at Friday on the 22nd, you'll have access to a wealth mastermind that Elyse is holding on Monday. It's recorded even if you can't join live, but that's going to be powerful, very powerful. And then it's an event that I will be running that I'm so excited. I got a download for this a few days ago. But I was thinking about what would I have loved coming into this? And I'm deciding to call it a dream team kickoff call and cohort. So a dream team. And the reason for that is, wouldn't it be nice if you had a group of people, women, men, or whoever, you know, just a group of people that only knew you by your dreams? They didn't know you at your current reality, but they knew what you were going for, and they held you accountable to that. And they said, you know what? I know that that person only flies private. And I could say, you know, I have a friend that only flies private, right? If I looked and I said, I have a couple billionaire friends, right? Because I saw them as that, how powerful would that be? And so I really just had this download of like, okay, for these people, let's have this little group together. Let's talk about our goals and like really just have a jam sesh where we talk about where do we want to be, get to know each other as that already at the end, and then hold each other accountable to it. And so I'm super excited to be running that. We haven't picked a date yet. And I'm so excited to see who will be there. And then of course, that would be if you join by Friday, but then we're also extending that as well so that there is a longer period of people that can be in that dream team cohort by Wednesday, the 11th, or on the 27th at midnight. So by next Wednesday. So Friday, you'll get both the Wealth Mastermind and the Dream Team. And then by Wednesday, the Dream Team. So of course, you can both enroll online. Thank you again, Kayla, for putting both of those in the chat. And so you'll see those, but also talk to your success advisors. You can talk to me, talk to anybody really on our team. We would love to be able to, you know, kind of guide you through and see if this does feel like the right spot for you to ascend. Yeah. But I would love, I think we have enough time for some Q&As, whether it's about the program or anything that we've talked about, time or money or really anything at all. Love to just kind of open the floor for you guys for the last like 20 minutes or so to really talk a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, if I can just jump in too, Kat.
Yeah.
I'm excited about your dream team bonus that you put together. I think that's so fun. And I know it's going to be incredible. So yeah, we're very excited for those of you who want to go deeper in this work and be immersed in this and really, really ascend beyond this week. We're so excited to support you. And so, and we're here and we'd love to help you ascend. Shelly is asking, how do we access the app? I don't know that. Do you know that?
I do. So the app is called Thinkific. And maybe what we'll do, Kayla, if we want to also make a note to put a thing out on the Facebook group today of how to get on there, but that you download the app Thinkific, and then the code is Elyse Archer, all one word, and then it will prompt you to put your login in there.
I'm sorry, can you spell what you're saying? I'm having a hard time processing the word you're saying.
I'll put it in the chat. It's Thinkific. Yeah, there you go. She's done it. Yeah. But we'll put that out for you guys too, because that is, Kayla just got us hooked up in that because she's awesome. So any open, I would love to make sure we have plenty of time for any questions. Laura, what's going on?
Hi, this isn't a question. It's just kind of like an aha moment. I love, like, what I'm really taking away from this is to have big ass audacious dreams and really challenging myself to dream even bigger than I thought, which I think Elyse mentioned that yesterday, right? Like, doubt your limits if you're going to doubt anything. And I really loved, I've heard your story before, Kat, but hearing it again and then hearing Allison's story, for some reason, it's just kind of like, oh, wait, because before it seemed so far from me, like, wow, good for them. I didn't mean that like in a envious or good for them, but like now it's like, wait, that could be me. Yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you. I love the shares. It's so inspiring. And it's great because it's like examples of what could be. And I'm encouraged now to dream even bigger, be audacious, right? And dream even bigger. So thank you.
Yeah. And I would even encourage you to say, that is me. And that it's already happened.
Thank you. I will say that. That is me.
That is you. You're highlighted next. Let's go. I love that. Thank you for sharing that win and that kind of realization. Elyse, I saw you came off mute. You had anything to add?
Oh,
you're just ready for me.
I'm just so excited about all of this. No, I was just thinking like, wow, I'm so blown away by what you and Laura shared today and by Allison and by Christy and everyone in the community. And I'm glad I lost my voice. I think this was better. I think it's so powerful to hear real world stories of how members of the community are using this to ascend and to grow, and everyone has their own vision and goals and their own angle on it. But it's been awesome just to listen in. So yeah, I know Laura was gonna lead us through a guided visualization at some point today to connect with your highest ascended self. So I know we've got a little bit of time left. Laura, do you want to lead us through that before we wrap? Oh, you're in the
No, I can hear it. I don't know if it's loud around me. Is it loud?
A little.
A little. Yeah, sorry, they're doing a private event in a room that was closed for me. So
It's okay. I don't
you
think
let me
it's,
know. Okay.
yeah. Do you have headphones?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they plugged in? 'Cause that
Yeah.
might help. Oh, they're in. Oh, I see. Okay. It's a little bit of background noise, but
Okay.
I
This is
think,
better.
I don't know. You got to talk a little more.
Okay. Can you hear me now? I'll keep
Yes.
talking if it's good.
That
Okay.
sounds perfect. It sounds great.
Let's do it.
Normally I'm in front of my microphone, but today I'm downtown.
Okay.
Bend in space and time, but I'd love to lead through a visualization, you know, yes, I would love to. So this is really to help you connect to your ascended self. So everybody, I want you to take a moment to get settled into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and gently take a deep breath in. Let it out slowly. With every exhale, feel yourself releasing the tension of the day. Releasing anything that's no longer serving you. Now let your attention drift inward into the quiet space within you. This is your sacred space, your point of connection to infinite wisdom and love and all possibilities. As you're breathing, imagine a warm golden light beginning to glow at the center of your chest. This is the light of your true self, your ascended self, the part of you that has been whole and always been free. As you continue to breathe, this light grows bigger and brighter and warmer, expanding outward in all directions. Feel its warmth fill your entire body, radiating through your heart, flowing in your fingertips, your toes, and beyond. In this golden light, feel a sense of ease and alignment wash over you. You're not here to figure it all out or force anything to happen. You are simply here to allow, to let yourself decide to receive the love and clarity that is already yours. Now imagine this light lifting you gently and effortlessly to a higher perspective. You're rising above the noise of the world, above the doubts and fears, into a place where everything feels lighter and clearer and more vibrant. This is the realm of your ascended self. Part of you that knows the perfect next step. Part of you that trusts the unfolding of your journey. Part of you that is allowing and always connected to your source within. As you rest here, ask yourself, what does my highest self want me to know right now? Listen without judgment. Trust whatever arises. It may be a word, an image, or simply a feeling of peace. Feel the love and support of the universe surrounding you now. Know that your desires are not random. They are your soul's way of showing you the path. Trust that all is working out for you in perfect timing. Take a moment to anchor in to this connection. Imagine a gold thread running from the higher perspective back into your present reality, weaving this feeling of alignment and trust into your everyday life. When you're ready, bring your awareness back to the room, back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes and take one deep breath. When you're ready, open your eyes and know this, you are always connected to your ascended self. You are always guided. You are always in this moment enough.
Thank you, Laura. That was I think, perfect way to end and just getting us back into just sense of peace. And I think it brings it back even to what you talked about today, is like when there's so much going on, just finding that stillness and recentering back to that light, that golden thread. Just, I felt myself sit up a little straighter. So thank you for that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Laura. That was really, really beautiful. So powerful. To all of you who are here live, watching the replay, thank you so much for spending these past 2 days with us. Another just very special acknowledgement to Laura and Kat for jumping in and leading today. You two are absolutely incredible, such a gift. So thank you. I've truly, from the bottom of my heart, feel so blessed that I have a team that can jump in and serve people at such a level that you did today. So thank you both. For those of you who are in our programs, we'll see you on Friday. We've got a 10K club call in the morning. We can't wait to see you. And if you are not yet in the programs in the community, like Kat said, if you're feeling called, you're like, hey, I know how much I shifted these 2 days. What would it be like for me to be in this energy on an ongoing basis? If you saw something in someone who shared their story yesterday or today, and it spoke to you, that means that you have that potential to do that or something even greater yourself. So trust that you're worthy of investing in. We would love to have you and support you on a deeper level. We'll send out an email with a replay with links to the program pages and a recap of the bonuses. Like Kat said, you can get yourself enrolled directly or book a call with your success advisor just to talk through your vision, your goals. We're here to support you. There's no pressure on the calls. It's really us getting to know you and seeing how we can best serve you. So reach out to your success advisor if you haven't booked a call yet. We love you. Thank you for being here, y'all. Babies, dogs, everyone. It's so fun. So here's to ascending together. So much love, everyone.